Today, I'm excited to introduce and have on the show Saman, your local expert in the Oshawa and Durham regions.
In the Durham region, we've experienced the largest percentage decrease in the GTA, in the core GTA, versus the peak of February 2022. That's down 29.7% versus Feb 2022. And in this chart, we'll be able to take a look at this chart for the Durham region, and we can really see the decrease in prices. And I mean, this is alarming for anyone who may have purchased in February or close to February. But for anyone who's looking to get into the market, it's comforting to know that there's been a bit of a price correction. And if this has been an area that you've been targeting, perhaps it's time to get back in the market. But I would say right now, you as a buyer, you do have the advantage in the market to ask for conditions and also negotiate.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Canadian Real Estate Channel. I am Danni Migueis, head coach, realtor, and investor with Realty Barrie. Today, I'm excited to introduce and have on the show Saman, your local expert in the Oshawa and Durham regions. Hi, Saman. How are you?
Hi, Danny. Thank you. Thanks for having me. And everyone, welcome back to the channel, and happy to talk Durham region and Oshawa with everyone.
Yeah, so it's been a few months since you've been on, so you should have lots of good stuff for us.
There's lots going on. Yes, lots of good data to share with people. Hopefully we can give people some clarity, some comfort as to what's going on in the market, and get people interested again.
Awesome. We are excited to see it.
Awesome. Let's jump right into it, guys. Well, as Danny said, my name is Saman Habibi. I'm a real estate agent with Right at Home Realty in Oshawa. I'm an investor-focused realtor, and I'm an investor myself as well. So in the Durham region, we cover anywhere from Pickering to Clarington, and then we even cover some north and some east in terms of Peterborough and Belleville area as well. But essentially, I've been in the market as a full-time realtor for the last 3 years now, helping a lot of investors, and investors are liking what they're seeing here, and they keep coming back and keep growing. So I'm happy to help out. With that said, we're going to jump right into the presentation. Again, my name is Saman Habibi. Today, I'm going to give you a market update of the Durham region. I'm going to give you my key observations as to what I'm seeing. And then we'll talk about the traditional duplex as an investment strategy here in the Durham region, which has been very popular for first-time homebuyers and also the first-time investor or even the expert investor, because it's a very simple asset to get into. It's very easy to purchase. It's fairly easy to manage, and it's fairly easy to dispose if that's part of your strategy. And then we'll talk about the rental data, what's going on in the Durham region in terms of rentals. And then I'll talk about why it matters who you hire.
Perfect. It sounds like a great episode.
Yes. And as always, I'm trying to do something different here for anyone who's interested in connecting with me. If you want to scan this QR code, you'll be able to connect with me on my socials, and you'll also be able to book a free call with me where we can talk about what you're hoping to achieve in this market. If you have any questions, if you have any uncertainties that you want answered, if you want me to analyze a deal that you currently have, I'm happy to do that. By scanning the code, you'll be able to book right into my calendar, and we can have a one-on-one call with one another.
Awesome. Great idea.
Yes. So let's talk about what's going on in the market in terms of median prices. So we're going to keep it simple. At first, we're going to talk about median prices. As you can see here on this chart, I have the Durham region, and I have most of the municipalities from Ajax all the way to Whitby. November, you see the November 2022 prices versus the October 22 prices. And essentially what's happened in the market, as we head towards the winter months, there's a bit of a seasonality effect happening over here, where there aren't just many buyers out there right now. Everyone's focus and attention is on other things like the World Cup, maybe Christmas. So as a result, we've seen a bit of a decrease in prices. But if we look at the data, we kind of see this towards the end of the year. So nothing of surprise here. But essentially, if we look in terms of median prices, the median price in the Durham region is now around 850 to 875, and one of the most affordable places being Oshawa, if we're talking core Durham region along the 401. So when we do these updates, we always talk about the Durham region, but we also focus on Oshawa because for investors, it's always been the most attractive place simply due to price and also rental income relative to purchase price.
Okay.
So as we look here, as I said, a bit of a decrease month over month, which is normal, but a bit of another factor that I wanted to really talk about was the volume of transactions that we're seeing. So although November is only month to date, so as of November 22nd, volumes are down significantly. So what this is telling us is that people are listing their properties for sale, and if they're not happy with what they're getting, they're just not selling, and they're sitting on the market longer and longer to see what can happen, if they could potentially get a higher price, or if not, they just take it off the market. So although prices are down, volume of transactions are down as well, which kind of tells us that going into the new year, perhaps there will be a bit more inventory, as some of the listed inventory doesn't sell this year. Perhaps if people have some clarity or accept the fact that the market is what it is, and perhaps it's not going to change in the short term, it'll come back on the market. So in terms of what's going on, I'll give you my observation as to what I've noticed in the Durham region. So in the Durham region, we've experienced the largest percentage decrease in the GTA, in the core GTA, versus the peak of February 2022. That's down 29.7%. Versus Feb 2022. And in this chart, we'll be able to take a look at this chart for the Durham region, and we can really see the decrease in prices. So not only do we get to look at the different type of properties here, so we have townhouses, condo apartments, condo townhouses, detached, and semi, but we're able to essentially look at February and come all the way down to November month to date. And if you look at the far bottom right in red, I've kind of done a percentage decrease as to what's happened in the Durham region. Condo townhouses are down 24%. Townhouses are down 24%. Condominium apartments are down 19%. Condo townhouses are down 24%, detached down 32%, and semi-detached down 32% as well. And I mean, this is alarming for anyone who may have purchased in February or close to February. But for anyone who's looking to get into the market, it's comforting to know that there's been a bit of a price correction. And if this has been an area that you've been targeting, perhaps it's time to get back in the market. Make sure that you're pre-approved, and if you're looking, now you have a bit of clarity as to what has happened in the market in the Durham region and to the different type of properties. If we look at the city of Oshawa, and again, I said the city of Oshawa has been the most affordable, so people are naturally drawn to it. We're seeing the same type of pullbacks in the city of Oshawa. Townhouses are down 27%. Condo apartments, not so much, mainly because there just aren't as many condominium apartments here. And the ones that were here and the ones that are in the market just maintained fairly strong because of that price point of getting into the market. Condominium townhouses down 25%, detached down 32%, and semi-detached down 28%. I would say this is fairly consistent across the board and within the different areas in the GTA. But if we look at, from a percentage perspective, we did have the biggest decrease. And I would say that's mainly also mainly due to the fact that we had the highest increase. So what goes up must come down, and it's clearly happening right now. With that said, most municipalities have maintained or increased the value slightly since July of 2022. So Whitby, Ajax, Oshawa, Clarington have either plateaued or seen a slight increase in value. And I would say that's mainly due to the low levels of inventory. So in terms of months of inventory, currently we have the lowest months of inventory in the GTA. And as I mentioned, that has allowed prices to plateau or increase. So if we look at this chart here, we're looking at the different municipalities, and the line that I've drawn, the vertical line I've drawn for July 2022 and onwards, you can see that most prices have maintained fairly stable. In some areas, for example, Ajax, after August, seen a bit of an increase. But all in all, it's been fairly plateaued and fairly stable. And in the events where there are major pull downs, it's because of one or two transactions that have really caused those numbers to dip. And then lastly, I just want to talk about seller mentality and buyer advantage. So from a seller's perspective and what's happening with sellers, from a lot of the conversations that I've had in listing presentations, essentially the mentality is that if I can't get the price that I want today, I'm perhaps going to lease my place for 1 year, because the consumers of the belief that interest rate increases are going to stop after December or gradually come down in the new year. So they believe that the market is going to correct a little bit in terms of the pressure on interest rates, and perhaps are going to test the market in the new year. And I would say this is valid through all different types of properties, whether it's detached, semi-detached, apartments, townhouses. It seems like sellers are still trying to sell, but if they can't get the price they want, they're going to list for a year in the rental market and then sell afterwards. Which, in my opinion, it's an okay strategy if that's what you need to do to get your numbers to work. But when you become a landlord, now you're dealing with tenants and you're dealing with the landlord-tenant board, which we know that it's favored towards tenants. So you really need to understand what you're getting into in terms of the rights that you have. You can't just ask a tenant to leave. I mean, you can, but they don't have to agree to leave. So there's more of a complexity with that. So if that's the approach that you're taking, I would highly recommend that you work with an agent who really understands the LTV. I find that investor agents are versed when it comes to the LTV, because just the nature of helping landlords be landlords and also manage tenants. So I'd say really work with someone who understands the area, but also understands what you're getting into. And then the buyer advantage right now is that financing and inspection clauses are very attainable. It's a very easy conversation to have, which gives you an advantage, and also the ability to, when you're competing with others, you're not competing with 20, 30 offers. That number has dropped significantly. At times, there aren't even offers on a property. You may be the only one, and you have the ability to negotiate. But with that said, there are those properties that are still priced a bit lower and are attracting high number of offers. But I would say right now, you as a buyer, you do have the advantage in the market to ask for conditions and also negotiate.
100%. And that's a good peace of mind for the buyers in this market, right? To get those homes inspected.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I feel like this has been missing from the market. It's giving consumers a bit of an ease, a bit of a comfort point. It's making the process of the transaction a bit more easier to manage for the buyer. You're not under a time crunch. You can take your time. If you get cold feet for whatever reason, you do have the ability to walk out of the deal. But also, you just you're making a very safe and a safe investment, because you have the ability to ask for a financing condition. And as part of that condition, it's important for people to know that the financing condition, a key part of the financing condition, should be the ability to get an appraisal on the property within a reasonable time, and to know whether what you paid for that property matches the appraisal that's coming in from the bank.
Yes.
Next, I want to talk about the turnkey duplexes and 2022 prices. So as I mentioned, the Durham region did see a big price decrease. So in general, but also with duplexes as well, the purchase price of a 2-unit legal duplex has dropped by approximately 20%. So at the peak of the market, Feb 2022, they were trading around $1 million to 1.150. These numbers are based on sales that I've seen in February take place. Now that number is down to $800,000 to $875,000. And I would just say that, in this market, whether you are an investor or whether you are a first-time home buyer, it makes more sense to purchase a turnkey property as opposed to a property that's going to require a full renovation. And if we take a look at a number here, at this chart here, we've summarized we've summarized turnkey 2 units versus a bungalow that's going to require a full renovation. And I've kind of compared what the median prices would be. So let's look at a turnkey legal 2 unit. You can purchase a turnkey legal 2 unit in a nice area for $875,000. That's going to require a 20% down payment. So your down payment would be $175,000. No renovation required. So the initial cash required would be $175,000. In terms of what the short-term the short-term risk for this property would be the cash flow, simply due to the increase in interest, the interest rate on your mortgage. So if you were to buy a turnkey 2 unit, your down payment is $175,000. In terms of risk, the only risk you really have is a short-term cash flow. Now, if we look at a bungalow that's going to require renovation, the median purchase price is $680,000. So the down payment on that would be $136,000. A full renovation on this property would be $120,000. So the cash required would be $256,000, which is a lot of money. And in terms of risk, you have the short-term cash flow risk, but now you also have the refinance risk as well. So we know that when you go into a renovation project, the plan at the end of this project is to do a refinance, and I would say that is a big risk at the moment, because we just don't know if the resales in the future months, in 6 to 8 months, are going to maintain, increase, or come down. So I'm recommending my investor clients to look at turnkey properties right now, and also my first-time home buyers, because it's a very easy asset to get into, as mentioned. And also, whether you're a first-time home buyer, we'll talk about the rental rates, but the rental rates for lower units are fairly competitive, and it's going to essentially cut your mortgage commitment nearly half of what you have.
Yeah, no, for sure. That like, as a first-time home buyer in your area, that would be a great option. Sure, you're not cash flowing right off the hop, but eventually you could be. So get yourself in the market, have somebody pay half your mortgage, and then invest long-term.
That's the plan. And essentially what we're doing right now when we talk with investors or first-time home buyers is, yes, we're showing them what cash flow looks like today in today's lending environment, but we also show them what it looks like in a stabilized market and by stabilized, I'm using a 3.75 to 4% interest rate. And at 3.75, 4%, the numbers work out just fine. You're around 10 to 15% ROI on an investment. But it's the ability to essentially weather the storm. And if you have the ability to weather the storm in the next 6 to 12 months. So in terms of rental data, so what I've done is I've broken it down to single family house and a legal 2 unit. When we look at a single family house, the median rental price in the Durham region is around $27,000 to $3,000, which is not bad. It's stayed fairly consistent throughout the last couple of months. However, if you're looking at it solely from an investment strategy, I'd say that the single family house is not necessarily the way to go, because at these rates, you're not really covering your mortgage commitment, plus your 2 other fixed expenses of property taxes and insurance. However, if we look at the legal 2 units, upper unit 3-bedroom properties are essentially between $2,200 to $2,400. I've seen even higher, sometimes $2,500, $2,600. Lower unit 2 bedrooms are between $1,700 and $1,900, and lower unit 1 bedrooms are between $1,400 to $1,600 a month. And all these numbers would be plus utilities and hydro. So if we do a quick comparison on a single family house, at the high end, you're going to get around $3,000 a month. And of course, if you're in a better location and a detached, more renovated property, of course you can demand a premium. But if we're talking median prices, this is what you would get for in terms of median rental income, so $3,000. But then if we compare it to a legal 2 unit, if you have a 3-bedroom and a 2-bedroom, you're close to $4,000 to $4,100 a month. So from an investment strategy, the legal 2 units are still fairly strong. So we're definitely encouraging our clients to still look at the legal 2 units and consider them. And also for the first-time home buyer, I would say that the message here for the first-time home buyer is that if you go into a bungalow, you're going to be able to either live upstairs or live downstairs you make the pick, and then whichever unit you're not occupying, you're able to get these type of rents. So, if you're able to be humble and let's say live in a lower unit, you can be requesting $2,200 to $2,400 a month from your upper unit, and that would cover, I'd say, 50 to 60% of your mortgage commitment on a monthly basis, which would be, phenomenal for anyone who's willing to do that, because it still allows you to save on a monthly basis.
It's an incredible opportunity and a very smart strategy with those numbers.
Yes. I mean, it requires a bit of a sacrifice. I know everyone is, everyone just wants that fancy house, their dream house, but doesn't necessarily have to be your first house. These things take time, and I would say in this market, it's better to make a strategic decision than an emotional decision.
You have to start somewhere, right?
Yes, that's right. That's right. Okay, and with that said, I just want to really emphasize that who you hire does matter. So, being in the Durham region, I just wanted to highlight that I am 90% of my business is local, and the remaining 10% is of the surrounding area. Whether you're listing a property or buying a property, you need an agent that is active on social media, just so they're aware of what's going on. And I have that ability to be active on social media, to have a network of agents that I work closely with that I can reach out to if I know that they have a property coming. I hold myself to a high standard. I am a chartered accountant and a CPA as well. So that allows me to maintain that a fiduciary duty to my clients and also to myself. And I also have a full support team, whether it be mortgage brokers, lawyers, accountants, home inspectors, insurance company, movers, whoever it may be. I have those people as part of my team that are able to work with you and make sure that this transaction goes smoothly. And just lastly, I say I'm a expert of the Durham region. I've been working in real estate for 7+ years, been living in the Durham region for 18+ years, went to high school in the Durham region, went to university in the Durham region, consider myself to be one of the top producing agents in the Durham region and in Ontario for that matter. And these are some of the numbers that I've been able to achieve. So I just wanted to say that, when you're looking to move it to the Durham region or buy an investment property in the Durham region, work with an expert that understands the area, because I've spoke about this on previous videos. The number of calls I get from people who make a purchase but then reach out to me afterwards for contractors, for we're in an area that we don't like, can you help us get out of this deal? The number of phone calls I get on these topics are a lot, and sometimes I just shake my head saying, how did you allow yourself to get into this situation? So if anything, I would say interview as many people as you can. And if you'd like to interview me, I'd be more than pleased to take that phone call. And that's all. Again, as always, if you want to connect with me, you can scan this barcode and you'll be able to book a call right into my calendar, and we can jump on a one-on-one call and discuss what you're hoping to achieve.
Well, that is awesome. What a great presentation. And I love the numbers and how you broke down the rental data. I think that will definitely attract a lot of people to you and to the Oshawa area, because that's a great area for first-time home buyers.
Absolutely. I've always said that, even at the peak of the market, the Durham region and Oshawa specifically were the most affordable areas to purchase. I know in recent months that strategy, that idea has changed a little bit, but if we're still talking about core GTA along the 401, along the GO train corridor, Oshawa is still the most affordable place for people to purchase, whether it be first-time home buyers or whether it be investors looking to get into the market.
Well, that is awesome. Thank you so much. You guys heard it here. Saman from Oshawa, your local expert. Give him a call or scan his code. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for being on the show today, and we hope everybody has a great day.